Coming up next on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live, Monday night at Skippys heads to Lime Rock Park. We've got a full grid of 60 cars. The lap is under a minute. This one is not going to be one to miss. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome back to RaceSpotTV and Monday Night Skippys. We're back for a new season here. Rachel Wyford, Connery Medic, Linus Gross, and of course, Hugo Louise on the cameras as always here as we join you with a special presentation here on RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live. We're at Lime Rock Park. What more do I need to say? A sub 1 minute lap, 35 drivers within a second of each other in qualifying, and a really short 7-turn lap. This is going to be a carnage fest, and you know what? We are looking forward to it. What a way to start the season. We ended at Bathurst. We start with a full grid here at Lime Rock. Connery, this is going to be absolutely insane.
Yeah, it really is. I think we had this last season with 60 cars here at such a short track. Remember, we have 7 turns here. Lap times in the fastest guys are in the 57-second margin. And well, what a way to kick off the new season.
Absolutely, 26 degrees Celsius is the air temperature right now, and it's good conditions actually for racing here as we get ready to end qualifying. Times are mostly in at the moment, and we'll see what will come up. Benny Simpson on the pole, for He-Man Tonides in second place, Stuart Adcock and Tom Ward, and Mark Turner, your top 5 there. That's going to be really interesting. And Linus, this track is unforgiving.
It's very narrow and not a whole lot of runoff areas, and with the big field we have on such a short track, I believe the description of Richmond fits this place even better. It's going to be chaos at every corner.
Certainly is, of course. And Hugo was telling me before the race that we have an actual figure for the world record, certified world record time around Lime Rock Park. And that was John Golinski, a 55.925 on the clock. 55 seconds, 0.9. That's insanely quick, Connery. And we've heard there are some quicker laps, but we're not sure if those are legitimate or not. So this is the fastest we've actually managed to certify to this date. Even that, though, for Skip Barber cars, I might add, that is insanely quick.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what kind of weather that was set in. Usually if it's stone cold out there on track, you can go much faster, but it's pretty cold out there on track right now. Mostly cloudy, 25 degrees Celsius, and yeah, 27 on the track. And well, there's just a couple of people still out there setting their last qualifying times. Michael Barry in that 675 car trying to set his first qualifying time. And where will this time place him? It's a matter of hundredths of a second between places here sometimes. And I don't think he got across the line in time.
I don't think it is indeed, so we'll have to keep an eye on that one as what will happen. Actually, looks like the time's run out, so what we're going to do is going to go through your starting grid for tonight. Benny Simonson on the pole there with Fahim Antonides in second place. Stuart Adcock in third with Tom Ward in fourth. Mark Turner, Simon Edwards, Kane Halliburton, Clark Williams, Neil Bontemps and Jack Hobbs your top 10. With Matthew Woolett, Richard Yehand, great name, Patrick Fairbanks, Brian J. Holmes, Andrew Leach, Christopher Cash, Matt Cox, Gareth Dorning, Tim Adcock and Andrew Mumby in 20th. The rest of the positions on your screen. There's a lot to go through because we have 60 cars. The last guys starting here are starting all the way about halfway between turns 6 and 7, leaders. This is a huge grid.
Massive, I mean, it's not going to take a long time for the cars to be spread out all over the track, and if we have a little crash early on, the leader's going to be lapping half the field by about lap 5.
Very much is as well. The time's going to run down now. I'm going to get ready to start this one off today as, well, we have got 25 laps of carnage to survive here at Lime Rec Park, as Ian Dimmock has just said in the in-game chat. I don't think he's far from wrong. Lime Rec Park. That is the new title of this one. Hugo's going to change it on YouTube after we finish the broadcast, so the actual official archive broadcast will be Round 1 Lime Rec Park. Hugo is going to do that, so he's nodding. He can't tell he's nodding, but he is. So that will happen. As front row, Benny Simonson, Fahim Antonides, Adcock and Ward starting on that second row together. Narrowly missed a championship there for Stuart Adcock. Tom Ward beat him out in the end after one of the biggest shows of sportsmanship we've seen in sim racing, where after wrecking Tom Ward by accident, Adcock went through pit road on purpose to wait for him to come out again with a fresh car, and the two duelled it out to the end, giving up his chance of a championship, but showing incredible sportsmanship with that act. And the race will begin very shortly now. Engines will rev for the first time this season, and the green flag will fly. We're racing here at Lime Rec Park, and single file faster than a bobsleigh run, and heading down towards turn number 1. Everyone being very sedate early on in this one, actually, as Connery, the field is being a little timid. We've not actually seen anyone go this carefully to turn 1 Lime Rec Park since it was built.
Yeah, no, it's actually Gareth Dorning pulling off to the side of the track there and is off in turn number 1 here, which is just hopefully hasn't actually towed that one back to the pits just yet. He's still out there on my track now, so hopefully he can get that car towed back before the field makes its way around again. And we haven't had a major incident, at least on the first half of this lap, front of your field single file.
They certainly are. Most of your field single file, in fact, is going to come around to complete the first lap here, coming out of turn 6 down towards 7. And out of that final corner will be Benny Simonson. Fahim Antonides in second place. Oh, big off for Mark Turner, who lost it out of turn number 7. We'll show you what happened there for him, but got a wheel on the grass there, Linus, and just dumps it and off like a missile into the tyre barriers.
Yeah, that's very, very unfortunate early on here, but like you said, it just got a little bit too wide, a little bit hot on the throttle, and just bends it on the inside barrier, and his race is not looking too good from this point on.
Setting out, of course, things get a bit interesting up here at the front as there's starting to be some shuffling. Tom Ward's made it past Stuart Adcock. He's up into third place there with a late dive to the inside through turn number 1 on lap 2 here. As the challenge now heading towards the lead. Benny Simmons not sure will be able to hold off the rest of your field at this stage, as things are looking kind of close up here, Connery, as Ward is sniffing already.
Yeah, he is. He's just sitting at third place. We'll have the run coming out to number 6 on Fahim Antonides in front of him. Zed side by side through the final corner, and they will remain side by side coming off the corner. But there's a run from the driver behind. This is Stuart Adcock. They're splitting it 3 wide. Down the middle goes Adcock, coming down into turn 1.
Does indeed. Adcock with a huge run there, gets past both of them up into second place. No chance for undercut by Antonides there in the inside of turn number 1 and 2. Although a bit of a break there for Benny Simonson, has a bit of breathing room in the moment. That'll close up fairly quickly once they behave themselves, but also keep our eyes here, of course, on Simon Edwards and Kane Halliburton, 2 rising stars from last season who will be showing good promise again. In fact, a lot of guys really making some big moves today and showing things to be a little on the quick side. Where's our Paul Thurston, the guy we always talk about? Well, he's down in 32nd, started 40th. So El Capitan is on the move right now, Linus.
Yeah, he's making his way forward so far, and if he can keep it clean, it's going to be interesting to see how far up the field he can get. He finished out last season very strongly, and he'll be looking to definitely finish this season well within the top 10.
So he did his 8th or 9th in the points last season, which was incredibly good for him, as I believe, yeah, Linus's gain is going up and down. We'll fix that. But inside now for turn number 1. Up the inside of Adcock goes Antonides, and Tom Ward goes through as well. We think it's Antonides. Oh, wow. Adcock got forced a little bit wide there. And again, by 2 more cars, as he's just held to the outside there in turn 1, Connery. That really cost him about 4 spots.
Yeah, Adcock really hung out to dry coming through the turn 1 and 2 section, but he just settles in behind now. This is into number 6. Meanwhile, there's a driver dropping down the field. I think there was a Mumby there in a 43 car having a little bit of issue in the first sector. And yes, he was across the grass coming through turn number 1, got in the dirt, got in the grass, and cut most of the course.
Having a quick look now, he looks like he just ran wide on his own under braking, just pushed wide onto the grass and, well, put himself in a bad spot there, unfortunately. And this will happen. Lime Rock, turn 1, does tend to try to spit you to the outside. It's one of those corners. We'll look at the leaders as they head into turn 1 now, and no changes of place yet. But Stuart Adcock's trying to work his way further forward again and recover from what he had. Antonides, though, out front of Ward, who's keeping him honest here at Lime Rock Park. So it's not the Ward show, as always, and Benny Simonson here to really put the dampers on Tom Ward's perhaps desires for another season championship already.
Yeah, exactly. And well, for him, Benny Simonson was one of these drivers that was always up there, at least in the early part of last season. And maybe if he participated in all the races that we had, he could have challenged Stuart Adcock and Tom Ward coming towards the end of the season. But Tom Ward is just hanging on to the back of Fahim Antonides here. Fahim Antonides and Tom Ward have both won their fair share of Monday Night Skippys championships. So this should be a great fight coming towards lap number 6.
Certainly should be. Benny Simonson out front. Last time by, his lap was a 56.8, so not as quick as his qualifying time, but certainly very fast indeed, as he'll be closely followed here by Antonides and Ward into that first corner. Lap 6 already. Where is this time going? But we look at what we've got in our field, and so far we have 2 non-starters, Luke Ashton-Jones, Michael Rattington, and Paul Lee is scored as non-starting. Mark Turner, Chris Morris, and Nick Sigley. Jonathan Wolf are all scored 1 lap down or more. Doug Pickering, last car running on the lap. In fact, he's currently 47 seconds, so he's about 10 seconds away from your leaders, and he's in 55th place right now.
Yep, as we have a look at the battle involving the number 31 and others, and well, the front of this train is going to be Carl Handley in at number 61, pushing wide behind, though, was driver of Robert Plumley, as Mark Redford here looks to make it side by side coming through the uphill section of this track, and that's a very risky part of the track to go side by side through as they come up over the hill. Here comes the run from Robert Plumley behind, coming down into the right-hander, looks for the position over Carl Handley and will get it.
Get him, yeah. Hanley, no nose cone on that car there, as Plumley coming through there. Of course, they cost themselves time going through that corner side by side, but Plumley took advantage of one. Won't get the second one just yet, though, as they'll pull it back up here once again. And Plumley's going to go up the inside into turn number 1 and make another place for himself there. Show Robert Plumley up from 42nd to 32nd, 10 places climbed here. It's a good one for him. Thurston, he's up to 29th place right now, so cars are starting to fall throughout this one, as we'll see what will happen. I believe this point is up to 30th place this season, so that's going to make things a lot more interesting, Linus, in terms of championship contention.
Yeah, it also means that a lot more people, when they crash out or have a mistake, they still have to keep on going, because every position will matter all the way down to 30th, so they will still have something to fight for, even if it's not the best of days. As we see them going almost 3 wide for the lead here, coming down the front straightaway.
Yeah, and Tom Ward there. Not for the lead, for second, third places. Oh, he gets a bit of a tap there, I think, on Antonides. No, it's actually Antonides behind them. That's, I believe, the car in front of... As soon as this one clears up. That is actually Simonson. No, it is Simonson. My cars, for some reason, haven't loaded, so I'm seeing lots of white cars. As Tom Ward up in second place there, struggling to try and get a move here. He did just tap him. That's a little bit bold from Tom Ward. Simonson's not going to respond well to being nudged there, Connery.
No, not at all. They have a little of that traffic to deal with ahead. Is actually Benny Simonson with a huge tank slabber coming over the crest of the hill, and that is kind of normal in any vehicle you go over the top of the hill with there, because the car gets so light, and you just feel like there's no grip there, and well saved there by Benny Simonson. But he doesn't want many more scares like that, as Tom Ward will have the run for him. Antonides will also have the run defensive inside line taken from Simonson as Tom Ward tries to take it away from him. Meanwhile, side by side behind, though, because there's the driver of Simon Edwards trying to make his way around the outside, coming up on lap traffic.
It certainly is. That'll be an interesting one for them to have to deal with here, as through they'll come and try and get themselves into a position where they can do something with this, but That train is building up quite strongly here at the front, and the lap traffic will make that one more difficult. Whether they'll pull off or not, we don't know. They should, but looking at this, the top 5 is some big names here. Simmons, Ward, Antonides, Edwards, Adcock. That is huge names in this series. Behind them, Halliburton and Williams still with that group. This one is far from done, and we've not really seen a breakup in that front pack so far, Linus. It stayed very, very strong, and this lap car here could actually be a huge help to Simmons as he comes out in the final corner, giving him a good draft on the front stretch and stopping Tom Ward getting an advantage.
Yeah, I think the lap car, like we see, will pull off on the straightaway now, let this entire train go to not mess it up too much, but he will have the entire field coming behind him, so that's going to be interesting as we see a move being made on the side of Benny Simpson here again by Tom Ward.
3 wide just behind him there with the lap car. There is old Tom Ward to the outside there, trying to have a look, but got a little squashed in that one. He couldn't quite make it work. He'll stay in second place here with Antonides in third, Edwards in fourth, and Adcock in the 5th place there. I don't think this one's going to end without a little bit of bumping and banging, Connery. This race is looking a little bit typical for Lime Rock Park. I mean, down our field, things are spreading out somewhat, but we still have some good trains fighting throughout the top 20.
Yeah, we really do, but these leaders are going to come out more and more lap traffic as Benny Simpson again sliding through the top of the hill there. Tom Ward takes the opportunity down towards the inside almost. Actually, they did interlock wheels there, but no contact made between your 2 leaders. Meanwhile, this stacks the whole train up, and Simon Edwards and I believe that was Stuart Adcock go for a spin through the grass.
It was. We'll go back and look at our replay as in front of Antonides. Ward slides in very late, slices in front of Antonides, who has to put the brakes on. Edwards then checks up and is hit by Stuart Adcock and the car behind him, and those 2 will go off. They're not going to be very impressed with that one, but that's a telegraphing your move sort of situation that led to some miscommunication.
Yeah, it is, and well, it's just like in terms of NASCAR Super Speedway racing. If you file into a gap that's a little bit too small, it just checks up the whole field behind you, and that is exactly what's happened. Believe it or not, on the road course here, as it's still going to be Benny Simonson leading as it stands, as he gets sculled by a lap traffic, and Tom Ward tries to split them down the middle there, and that could have ended horribly.
Ward is very aggressive today from what we've seen so far. Himself and Simonson duking hard here. Simonson almost feeling the pressure, but Ward is absolutely on the attack.
That lap car is still getting in the way of cars coming onto the back straight as well, so that almost causes even more damage.
Back or front?
Yep,
the car off the track just ahead of him on the outside there as the train behind your leaders here going to catch up to those top 3 again whilst they still fight. As looks like Benny just holding on at the moment. Times are starting to drop a little bit, but not a lot. Tom Ward's aggression though might start hurting his car in a moment, as we'll see what Benny does as he comes through turn 5 again. This crest, quite a difficult one. If you're still turning when you crest it, Linus, that can really upset the car.
Yeah, the wheels kind of ease off the ground a little bit, and if you're not going straight, then the wheels will start to spin and just turn you around. So if you're not ready for that, you could be in big trouble, and especially with a group of cars coming behind you, that could mean big trouble for a lot of people if you don't save it correctly.
Certainly could look ready for a move here by Tom Ward on Benny Simonson. He's so close this time by as they go down the straight, as Simonson will go defensive, then pulls out wide, try and take a defensive move here on Tom Ward. Ward's going to go for the outside line. Can he hold on to that? No, Benny just has a bit more advantage on the inside as he'll pull mostly clear. Not quite though. Tom Ward could have the inside. Is he going to close the door? He can't do it just there. 2 wide through turn 2 towards turn number 3 now into no name straight, and it'll be advantage to Benny Simonson. Nice piece of defensive driving there as Antonides gets his nose in as well, and they're going to lock out Tom Ward.
Yeah, but almost 3 wide coming into the kink up the hill, but 2 wide they will remain coming over the top of the hill. Tom Ward has to push wide into the grass a little bit. Just has to settle for P number 2 as it stands. But meanwhile, the train behind them, Clark Williams et al, are there all catching while these guys are squabbling at the end of lap 13 here as they come through the final corner. No really advantageous run to anyone, but Fahim Antonides has the benefit of the double draft. Fahim Antonides is going to challenge for P number 2, maybe P number 1, maybe 3 wide coming down into turn number 1. But 2 wide, it will stay with Fahim Antonides on the outside.
Nice advantage there taken by Fahim over Tom Ward battling with Simonson. He's put Tom Ward in a bit of a trickier spot, but he'll clear him through there. Will stay in 3rd place for Fahim Antonides as Clark Williams joining this group now from 4th place. Behind them is Bontemps, Woolett, Halliburton, Hobbs and Fraser inside your top 10, with Brian J. Holmes, your top 10th place driver there with Mick Watson. Actually, that's a lap car behind him. Keep your eyes focused though on this top group for a second again, as this one really heating up here. We'll look back in your top 10. Who have we got around here? It's Jim McFadden and Steve Hefford up there, pretty much on their own really, apart from Ewan Patterson there with McFadden. Anthony Katz and Tim Adcock running back in the 16th, 17th spot, with Patterson, Maltby and Thurston up in 20th now. So he's up 20 places so far. 20 places gained for El Capitan. That's a huge one for him. He's now actually starting to work on this train of cars up ahead of him, including the series organizer Simon Maltby, so we'll see what they can do.
Ooh, as Tom Ward gets a huge slide, almost a huge slide, sorry, coming through turn number 1. He's still trying that outside line around the corner as he looks for a gap again, coming down into turn number 3. Lap traffic ahead of Gordon Ramsay, who's nursing a very, very damaged car. Please get out of the way as he gets a huge slide there, but manages to let most of your field by there. As actually Tom Ward still looking for position coming up to the kink, but still not able to find any sort of gap that Benny Simonson might have given him. But here comes the run off the top of the hill, though, to the outside. Tom will still have to go. This has been very good defensive driving here for Simonson.
But will it be enough as Tom Ward dives to the inside, gets an overlap? Oh, Wiggles tries to go back outside again. Tom Ward is fishing for anything he can find, and he's killed his own run there as Benny tries to close him off, but Ward's at the inside. He's on the grass. 3 wide, nearly 4 wide here across the line. 3 wide it is for sure as Clark Williams is shut out there. Who will be first through the corner? Oh, contact there, Ward and Simonson, as Antonides goes 2 wide, loses some time. Tom Ward is through. Bit of contact there with Antonides a second time as Tom Ward makes it to the front of the field. My gosh, that was exciting.
That was a really brave move around the outside as well, and I don't know how he kept it on the track. He got really, really sideways, but this has let the next 5 cars or 4 cars behind him close up, so all of a sudden this is a group of 8 cars again. So all this battling is really slowing them down.
Certainly has indeed slowed them down. We've got cars all the way up to Jack Hobbs there at the back of this train. It's going to make this one very, very exciting as this goes down. More lap traffic coming up now, and there'll be only more of that as the laps go on. We're on lap 16 here of 25. And honestly, there's a lot more cars coming up. In fact, we look towards the end of this lap, and there's a huge number of cars. So this is where it starts to get tricky. We're about halfway through this race, and look at the snake now start to pull the IndyCar shuffle as they decide what line they're going on into turn number 1. 2 wide for the lead. Antonides goes in deep, and down goes Clark. Clark Williams goes round, saves it without contact. Tom Ward loses a spot there too. Fahim Antonides, who's taken that top spot from him, and we'll see what we can do from Simonson now on lap number 17 here. But everyone okay in that turn 1 incident. It was really a single car wobble and slide. Thankfully, no major contact.
It was actually contact behind there. That was Matthew Willett running into the back of Clark Williams coming down into turn number 1, going way too deep on the brakes considering the pack in front of him. Here comes Tom Ward though, maybe for the race lead. As no, he will just file in behind for now. We've got about 8 laps remaining the next time they come across the line here, with yet more and more lap traffic that these guys have to deal with. That's not something they usually have to deal with. That's not Tom Ward. Huge slide coming through the final corner. Somehow he saves it as here comes Benny Simonson. Now will we see 3 wide again? No, Tom Ward and Simonson are off at the turn 1.
Oh my gosh, that was huge. We'll get a quick replay of what happened there, but your series winner from last time out, the aggressive driving has absolutely bitten him in the ass here. He tries to pull to the middle of the track with Benny Simonson, and kabam! Just does not look where he's going and slams into the side of Simonson. The 2 of them off into the barriers. Huge crash there with Simonson spinning back onto the racing line. Oh my gosh, what a huge mistake that was.
Can I just say, does that remind you of a particular incident at a particular Formula 1 race you might have had?
It certainly does. It involves one with a Dutchman called Max Verstappen.
In that case, it wasn't Max Verstappen's stop, but not Max Verstappen's fault. But that one is kind of up to debate with a lot of people right now.
We've seen things like that, but to be fair, that was a very much a Tom Ward not looking where he was going move, and it completely cost him and Benny, both of whom are not going to be too impressed with that, I think. But think of the pressure off Fahim Antonides. His 2 biggest threats are now out of this race. Fahim Antonides looking very happy here. Kane Halliburton in 2nd, Matthew Willett in 3rd, Bontem's 4th, Hobbs in 5th. We've completely changed his top 10 structure, and this is incredible. Clark Williams still running, he's in 6th place. Brian Holmes 7th, Big Watson 8th, Matt Cox is in 9th, and Steve Hefford in 10th place. And would you have a look where we have, oh no, Paul Thurston is on track, and he's now in 16th place. He's going to be a happy chap after this race.
Yep, and I believe that is 24 positions gained currently for Paul Thurston, and he could gain a couple more depending on how the end of this race turns out.
Certainly could. This one's looking like an absolute carnage fest, as we somewhat predicted. Tom Ward has left. Benny Simonson, I believe, has also left at this point. Those two not too happy with how things are going, but actually no, Benny's back out on track. He's in 22nd, so he's going to score points from this, which is more than Tom gets, so that's always a advantageous thing to go for. Benny looking perhaps the long game this season to try and beat out Tom. We'll see what he can do with that. Just ahead of him is fighting on the racetrack with Bill Fraser and co. We just lost that for a moment as Thurston and being chased now by Mark Redford, I think that was behind him. That's a lap car. I can't tell who's who because there's so many lap cars around each other, it's almost impossible to tell. Got a bit of a race here though involving Stuart McFadden, and I believe that is Ewan Pattinson there, the 35. It is Ewan Pattinson chasing after McFadden in the 58 car as they head on to No Name Straight here on lap 20 of 25. This will be for a 11th place position right now, Linus, as Ewan trying to find a way around that red car of McFadden, but it's not looking as open as it might be.
No, as he goes up the inside here already, but they make a little bit of contact, but they just keep him going. No, I think he's going to have to fight real hard to get that position, as they both know this could be the last position of the top 10. Though it looks like McFadden has damage to the front of his car, so it might not be that hard in the end anyway.
No front wing on that car, so we'll see what Patterson can do as he goes round the outside. Going to get forced wide though, won't make it happen. As a car goes off in front of them. Was that a lap car? I'm not entirely sure. That wasn't Steve Hefford, so it's fine. So we'll work out who that was. But looking at P2, Connery, what's going on?
Yeah, they were side by side pretty much through in the entirety of the first sector as Matthew Woollett manages to make his way by Kane Halliburton for the battle for P number 2, and you wouldn't have thought that a couple of laps ago with the way that Ward and Adcock were battling at the front of the field, but well, it's going to be Kane Halliburton just having to sit in the tow here, try and get a reply, maybe coming down this straight here. He's not going to have much of an overspeed as perhaps he would have if he hung a little bit far further back, coming down into turn number the last turn, but now into turn number 1 is going to be Woollett on the inside. Kane Halliburton still trying on that outside line, but he just has to settle and pick his pick his moves here coming towards the end of this race with about 3.5 laps to go.
Certainly is, and we'll see who took 3 gallons of fuel, who took 2.1, because if you took 2.1 you're not going to make it to the end of this race, as it's top 3 now. Antonides, Woollett and Halliburton, those two fighting out for podium spots. Bontemps and Hobbs and also Williams also want to get on that podium. They've got a chance, they're not too far away, so there's every chance those guys could also fight for podium positions. Steve Hefford started 23rd, he's up in top 10 right now. Nick Watson started 21st, he's in 8th place. A lot of big movers from the lower end of your field moving forwards, but got to give it to Thurston though. 24 places climbed, and looking like he's actually coming after Maltby here at the moment, so we could see if he can get a move done on Simon. That'd be fantastic for him to achieve in this one, but top 15, good head towards the point. It's not a top 10 he'd have liked, but there's still plenty of time for carnage, Linus.
Yeah, still a lot of time for things to happen as they go almost 3 way down the straightaway again for 13th place, but it looks like they're going to spread out nicely.
It very much does, as they're going to make a move there. Up the inside will go Thurston on Maltby. Going to be an easy move there for him, so Paul Thurston up to 15th place into turn number 1. We'll see exactly where Tim Adcock is. Tim Adcock's quite a distance ahead, heading through turn 3 right now, as Thurston there heading just towards it, so not going to really catch him in 2 or 3 laps unless something goes wrong. But look at this lead group here that's really formed up now. We've got the 2 second and third place runners of Woollett and Halliburton, and the 3 behind them there is Jack Hobbs went very wide right off the track. Actually rejoins on the outside, as there's going to be a move now by, I think, Brian Holmes behind him. Is that? No, it's not. That's Jack Hobbs actually. It was Neil Bontemps that went wide. Car's not showing up correctly for me at the moment, unfortunately, as Clark Williams sneaks the position back by a very, very fine margin there past the nose cone of Hobbs, Connery.
Yeah, very close to being contact through there, as this is the closest battle that's quite far up the field that we have right now. Meanwhile, Stuart McFadden and Ewan Pattinson still battling. Tim Adcock and Anthony Catt still battling for positions outside, just outside of your top 10 here as they head their way through the first sector here, and they've just been chopping and changing positions all the time while we've been talking, and I don't know how this one's going to finish.
I I don't think I have any idea at all, but I think I know who the winner's going to be without any mistakes. Fahim Antonaides looking good right now for the win in today's event. Final lap for him this time around at Lime Rock Park. Into turn 1 he'll go. Nearest competitor 3.6 seconds back, and that's Matthew Woolett, who himself has about just under a second away from Kane Halliburton, so should be looking set for second and third in there as well. Bontemps and Williams are close. Hobbs and Williams not so much. They could have a fight. In fact, Hobbs has gotten past him at this point, so Jack Hobbs in a great position there. A little bit further down the line, it's still looking to be 15th place for Mr. Thurston, as we had a bit of a look from the outside by Simon Maltby. Doesn't get the chance to reply into one. There's a couple more cars going off the track very wide there. No major obstructions up ahead, so it should be a nice clean run through for them, as we'll look back to Fahim Antonaides. Through the final corner he'll come. Lap traffic ahead, but it's not going to be a concern for him now. 3.9 seconds it will be. 4 at the line. Fahim Antonaides back in victory lane as he skids it across the line, Tokyo Drift style. Fahim Antonaides, winner in round 1 here at Lime Rock Park. Matthew Woolett in second place and Kane Halliburton in third.
Yep, and well, that battle set in that sort of first main pack just decided to spread its way out a little bit by the end of this race here. As the rest of the runners start to come their way across the lines here. Is actually Paul Thurston. Is he going to gain one more position? That's so close there to getting past Stuart McFadden. I think McFadden was slow there for some particular reason, as Alpha 20 is going across the line there, and a couple of other cars deciding to make their way through the final corner. There's still a battle going on for 32nd though, between 26 of Andy Baker and Jonas van Verwerke, the 516, and Van Verwerke is going to have the run here. We'll make it side by side across the line. I think he'll get it, so Van Verwerke will get 32nd place over Andy Baker.
So he does. Well, we're going to run through your finishing positions now. Final results are in. Fahim Antonaides takes the victory here in round 1 of this new season. Matthew Woolett, Kane Halliburton second and third, with Neil Bontemps and Jack Hobbs your top 5. Behind them is Clark Williams, Brian Holmes, Mike Watson, Matt Cox, Steve Hereford, and your top 10. Then it's Ewan Patterson, Anthony Catt, Tim Adcox, Jim McFadden, Paul Thurston, Simon Maltby, Mark Redford, Simon Edwards, Chris Stokes, and Paul Rowell. Rest of those positions up on your screen as Linus. What a way to start a new season.
That was quite interesting, and good action at the beginning. In the end, we didn't have that many big battles, but a lot of crashes as well, which we're not used to seeing, but not unexpected, seeing the size of the grid at such a small track. But this has really opened up the championship as well, with a few new faces finishing up front, and it's going to build up to be a very, very good season, I think.
Certainly is. We're going to have a chance now to talk to Fahim Antonaides, as he's got his audio playing in the background, so we're going to have to ask you to mute that one for us, Fahim, as I can hear myself quite loudly. Apparently he can't, so
Bye.
well, rip. We'll talk to Matthew Woolett first, as Fahim apparently can't set up his audio for this one. Clearly watching the broadcast in the background there, as Matthew Woolett, second place. Not a result you thought you might have in this one, starting 11th place.
No, qualifying 11th, that's, you certainly don't think you're going to end up on the podium second place, although Rock Park can bring lovely surprises.
Certainly can, with the big dogs fighting so hard, you managed to climb up very quickly there. And through speed as well as opportunity, if we might say, because you had a very quick race car today, and top 10 at Lime Rock Park is going to be, you are in sight of a victory at this sort of place. It's very compact, and the draft is so important that good omen for the season heading forwards.
I'm hoping so. Yeah, you're right. To be honest, Rachel, I felt that I had to tag along to the groups. There was definitely a front group that kept alive with the front runners, luckily, for the first kind of 10 laps, which was nice. And I think after 10 laps, the front 4 or front 5 wanted to break apart, which was quite interesting. And I think that's where all the drama came from. I must say, I must apologise. I don't know who I tapped on the rear wing, but I outbroke myself once on the first corner. I just couldn't spot my brake markers, which was slightly interesting, let's say.
Certainly was. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Matt Woolett, who came home today in the second spot.
Thanks, guys.
Congratulations, and looking forward to seeing you next week.
Take care.
Well, next up we've got Stuart McFadden, who came home today in 14th after starting in 26th. Big climb, Stuart.
Yeah, it was a bit hectic race, to be honest with you. Lime Rock always throws its party trick, so I knew if I just kept out of trouble I'd do well, but it was unfortunate in the last lap that I would have been about 10th or 11th place, but I made a small mistake myself, but I hold my hands up to that. It's a bit of a stupid move, to be honest. I went wide at
Congratulations
the
on a decent result.
Yeah, cheers.
Thank you very much for joining us, Stuart. Well, next up, we hopefully have got race winner Fahim Antonides here without hearing epic background noise. Fahim, congratulations, and what a heavy race.
Yeah, it's nice to be back. I didn't expect the first race to be right at the front end and fighting for the lead, but I'm glad that it was. I haven't raced in a long time, and it's good to see that I haven't lost much form. Lime Rock is a very difficult track to race on because it's just so frenetic and so bumpy and very tiring. And what I thought I'd do is let Tom go ahead a little bit and let Benny and Tom tire themselves out and stay out of trouble. And thankfully, it worked out.
Certainly did, indeed. And what must have been like to see Tom Ward and Benny Simpson spear off the track like that, running into turn number 1. You obviously had some great pace. You were actually leading a few times out front of those guys, but did you have the impression they might duel a little hard at some point? Because things looked a little more explosive than perhaps you wanted.
I mean, I didn't see what happened. I hope I wasn't part of what actually happened.
Not this time.
But sorry?
Not this time.
Good for a change. But you see, it's a very tough competition. The UK&I. Any one of the top 5 can win a race any given day. So all you got to do is try and play the percentage game, and that's what I'm going to be trying to do. I'm going for the championship. I'm not always going to go for the win if I think it's too dangerous, and hopefully that will see me through to the end of the season.
Well, it's certainly a good one. Congratulations for Fahim Antonides coming home today with the win here at Lime Rock Park in round number 1. Thank you very much for joining us, and congratulations. Well, next up, Mark Redford, who came home today in the 17th place. And Mark started in 41st. Huge climb for you in this one, and a very, very hectic race.
Yeah, thank you. It was just try to stay out of trouble, keep the pace up, and I was trying to follow Paul, but he just had a bit too much pace for me. So just ran around and waited for the other cars to fall off, and it seemed to work.
Well, it certainly did work today. Fantastic result from you, and looking for a good season.
Yeah, if I can keep running and coming in the top 20, I'll be very happy with that. So that's my target, and we'll see how it goes.
We'll be keeping an eye on you. Thanks for joining us. Mark Redford came home today in 17th place.
Thank you.
Last but not least at all, El Capitan himself, Paul Thurston, coming home today in the 15th place after a hefty jog through the field. Paul started 40th, 35 spots gained. 25 spots gained. I can't math today, apparently. 25 places gained. Big one for you.
Yeah, Lime Rock is always like that, isn't it? You're either going to make masses of spots, or you're going to get taken out in the second corner. Last season, it was get taken out. But it was in the practice session. It was just manic. It was just, and I think that helped me because you were just driving around other cars all the time. So I was really in the mood, if you like, for some close racing. That was so much fun. Was it fun to watch?
Oh, it certainly was very fun to watch indeed. Certainly one of the more exciting runs we had today at Lime Rock Park, and one for you at least.
Well, yeah, best of the season, really. It's nice to start a season with some points. Particularly, this season, of course, points down to 30. It gives you something to fight for if you do get knocked off. But then we get a grid of 62, and it rather negates that because I qualified in 40th. I screwed up my last qualifying lap. I should have been at least in 38th. But Daryl had quite a good quality. He nicked a couple of tenths on the last his last quali lap and sort of gained 3 spots, something like that. It's just insane out there. But Lime Rock is great. When you're in a race at Lime Rock, it really is good fun. Good practice for the oval, of course, which I've been doing a lot of lately, practicing and qualifying for the World Cup. I noticed you haven't qualified yet.
I have not yet, but it does not mean I won't. Paul, why don't you tell us and our lovely viewers a little bit more about the World Cup, especially from the UK&I's point of view?
Well, the World Cup is an event. It's an event run by the community, run by Mike Ouellette of Club West, I believe, isn't he? Who essentially it's for all the clubs in iRacing, all the international clubs. UK&I, Finland have won the last 3, I think. DH won the ones before that. We've never won it. We keep coming second, and we're fed up with that. So this year we are really making a great effort to get people out. We've got, and at the moment we're certainly winning the battle of getting drivers out into quali. We might not have all the fastest times, but we've certainly got bodies out there. So I'm very confident that we will give a good account of ourselves. I mean, anybody from UK&I who hasn't qualified yet, it's free. I mean, you just have to go along, join the World Cup League. There's full details on the forum. I've got posts there. All you need to do is just put qualifying time in. If you finish in the top 20, you're in the team. Because not everybody's going to be able to make it for every race. To be honest, if you finish in the top 25 or even the top 30, you're probably going to race in at least one of the races. And the World Cup, I've been involved in every single one in some capacity. My best sim racing memories are from the World Cup. They really are. The World Cup is brilliant. The club comes together, all the countries come together, and they actually just, they're competing for something other than themselves. And it just, I've made some great friends there, and it's just superb fun. So come along, whichever club you're in. I mean, we want everybody there. It should be this celebration of sim racing, and it usually is. Just come along, qualify.
Well, after that motivational speech from our great leader, Mr. Paul Thurston. Well, nearly. Get a cigar going on there, and you'll fight them on the beaches of Lime Rock Park's gravel trap.
Yeah, possibly. Yes, well, I did actually. I nearly went there, didn't I?
You did, yes. We noticed.
You spotted that one, yeah. I only had 2 wheels on the grass all the way round. I don't know how I kept that on. I really don't.
Well, either way, thank you very much for joining us, Paul. And if you are UK&I, check out the World Cup details. It's always fun. And, well, next week we're heading off to Silverstone National for Monday Night Skippys. Thank you for joining us today. It has been absolutely fantastic. I've been Richard Whiteford. I've been joined by Conor Maddock and Linus Brostrom. And, as always, the amazing and talented Hugo Louise. Thanks for joining us, and see us same time next week.